The Fox deal with Disney is a done deal, apparently now.
Yeah.
It's finished, it's gone through, so we don't have to, speculate about how long it'll take them to make negotiations. Other than, apparently, producer negotiations, sometimes producers have specific rights to certain films that they will, film franchises that they will work on. So, who knows with that, but in terms of all the politics, company, business stuff, that's all done. So now the question remains, how are they going to introduce X-Men into the MCU?
That's the interesting thing. So first of all, like what you were saying about producers a second ago, like Simon Kinberg is still technically, he has like some contractual obligation that even if he's not actively working on any of the X-Men films, he's still automatically credited as a producer.
Right.
Which, so that's going to be like another just hurdle for Disney if they like really want to completely make their own franchise. They're going to have to completely sever ties with him because he's going to be profiting off of these things like until that happens, Mm-hmm. But just to actually integrate them into the MCU, I don't know if there's a seamless way to do that. I know with Scarlet Witch, who's the one X-Men character who's currently in the MCU, who they had the rights to for much longer, her and Quicksilver, since they were both X-Men and Avengers characters. Both studios had the rights to use them. So the Scarlet Witch, they sort of retconned her a little bit. I forget if it was on like Marvel's official website or there was some official MCU timeline fact checkers somewhere online.
Some visual reference thing.
Yeah. So apparently they sort of retconned her to say, oh, hey, maybe the Mind Stone didn't actually give her the powers. Maybe it just awakened something latent in her, like a X gene. So that might be one thing they could do. Like, they could sort of, make the claim that, normal people have the X gene in them and it's just developing now for some reason. Maybe it's a, feedback loop from, them reversing the snap. Who knows? I feel like that's one way of doing it.
Yeah, that was going to be, my own personal theory. I haven't read anything. I just came up with something in 5 minutes. Was that, so apparently in the newest Avengers, they're going to go back in time, right? And they're going to try to regather the Infinity Stones and reverse things.
Yeah, that's basically what we can tell from like the initial promotional materials. That's probably what's going to happen, but who the hell knows? So, Marvel might be completely throwing us off the trail for some reason.
So my theory is, if they do that, when they do that, something will be put back. Or maybe some things will be put back not exactly the same as before. Because as we know,
it's the whole Flashpoint thing all over again, isn't it?
To fix the timeline, you'll never be able to put it back quite the same. There'll be fine little fractures in it that you just can't account for.
It's like a broken coffee cup, Barry. You can put all the pieces back together, but they'll never fit quite right.
Exactly. And one of those, due to the power of the Infinity Gems, will be the awakening of the X gene in humanity, and out come the mutants. They are the X-Men.
I will say, the problem is if they go that route, they're not going to be able to really integrate some of the older, like more traditional characters. Like, they're not going to be able to get Professor X in if they do that. They're not going to be able to get Magneto in if they do that.
Well, maybe they could, because if they're going back in time, maybe they're going far back in time, or maybe it'll be that one theory where if you go and change time at any point, it doesn't just change the future after that point, it also retroactively changes the past as well. So maybe it'll be a thing where, like, when they get back, things will be like way different than they remember, but everyone will be alive again.
Yeah,
maybe it'll just be, oh look, there's this place called School of Mutants. What is that? That wasn't there before.
Yeah, I mean, that seems a little outlandish to me. I feel like that'd be just way too much to go off of for the whole franchise. And that would really just, like, destroy years of world building, if they basically just erased... Like, if they said the previous 10 years of the MCU just didn't matter moving forward.
Well, it could be like, almost like the New 52, where they didn't erase all the history of the DC universe. It's like, most of it's intact, but a few things are pretty different.
Right. Okay, well, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. The other major theory I was sort of hearing, and this was like pushed back when they first announced the merger, is that Professor X has like long existed in the universe, and he just sent out some massive mind eraser or something just to keep the mutant population hidden or keep them safe or something. Which, I don't know, that seems like another sort of idea that it's just ridiculous, like...
yeah, I don't really like that one.
How would they explain why he would go out of hiding at that point?
That's not high concept enough for my taste. I need it to be more scientifically implausible.
Yeah, I feel like a feedback loop would probably be the best explanation. Off the top of my head, that's, like, I think the best thing. Yeah. So I feel like the Fantastic Four will be an easier element to integrate just because Marvel now has the rights to those characters as a result of the merger. And
yes, finally, the Surfer is on his way. Galactus is coming. But, I mean, is anyone going to even stick around? Like, who's even to say if there'll be more Avengers, more team-ups, or who knows? But
yeah. Well, again, as we've covered like numerous times on the show before, we know that the next phase of the MCU is going cosmic, starting off like with Guardians 3 and similar films. So we know they're trying to build into those elements. That could be a like good jumping off point for the Fantastic Four, since they're one of this more cosmic groups in the in the Marvel universe. So it'd be nice to see that. I know we're going to see Adam Warlock in Guardians 3, so there's that.
You know what? Maybe it'll just be that they introduce X-Men in the Fantastic Four, where it's like somebody opens up a dimensional rift, and it's like, oh, hi, I'm Reed Richards. I was experimenting with my latest device, my Dimension Hopper, and oh, look at that. I created an irrevocably opened up fracture in all the dimensions, so now everything's spilling together and worlds are colliding, and now you know what, forget that. That's not even high concept, that's just trash.
No, I know. And I feel like that's the problem with like the whole multidimensional thing. Like, if you have the ability to do that, what's stopping you from doing that a lot more often?
Hey, maybe they'll open up a portal to DC.
Yeah, seriously.
Finally get that Avengers JLA movie coming to you in 3D and IMAX in 2055.
Yeah. Could happen. Eventually, Disney will take over every media corporation in the world.
Listen, we will...
Mark my words.
...have the franchise wars and all the restaurants will be Taco Bell or Pizza Hut if you're in Europe.
Yeah. We'll all be serving the House of Mouse one day.
Most likely.
It's just an inevitability.